That
It
was a
wasn't.
nice way to say it.
It was just a glove and it had heat, and it was
fit the
years
bill.
ago. We
Yeah.
forgot about it. Good thing, because the new ones you have, we walk up to it, and you and I were both like, "What in the world are these?" We both put them on. We both turned them on, and the first words out of our mouth was like, "Holy crap, this thing's hot!" Hey everybody, I'm Eric Ani from MechanicalUp.com. I'm here with Andy Mickelson, my co-host. We are the Make Trades Get Again podcast, joined by Wes Thomas from Milwaukee Tool. Wes, can you just give us a little idea of what your position is within Milwaukee and what it is you're working on?
Yeah, so I'm a product manager, and I oversee our apparel categories. So we have heated gear, we have workwear, everything under both of those. So my teams are doing everything with our batteries inside of our clothing, as well as everything that we make clothing-wise that doesn't have a battery, right? So everything you've seen in the last couple of years with pants and shirts, hoodies, vests, all that under the sun.
So Milwaukee's not new to the heated gear game, right? What was the thinking behind, starting the heated gear line?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's actually, I don't want to say accidental by any means, but it was something we got into back in 2010, actually. So at the time, the M12 system, right, was fairly new, a couple years in the market, and we were really looking for opportunities to add products to the M12 system. And it was something that, teams at Milwaukee at the time, I wasn't here at that point, but it was something that they came up with an idea. Hey, we could put a battery in a jacket. There had been things in the market that had existed with heated clothing for a couple of years, pretty niche, very, very small volume. And so they tried it. They launched one red jacket in 2010, and it was definitely something quickly that caught fire, not literally, but
Thankfully.
definitely, thankfully. Not today either. Still doesn't catch fire, but it was really, that was where the start was, and grew pretty quickly and grew a lot of interest and fan favorites from the beginning. And then from there, it's really been just a journey for us, turning from a hobby into something that we really are very committed to and see a ton of value in.
You guys' early models, you said 2010 is when the first heated gear jacket hit the market. Working off the M12 platform, we saw that platform of tools grow significantly. Fast forward, or I guess looking back first, those first jackets, they're not even close to the same garments you guys are making now. I mean, you're not using the same materials. You're not putting the materials together the same way. I'm not sure if those first jackets, those first iterations of heated gear were you guys making them in-house, or was that made outside of Milwaukee at that time?
So it was still something that we were very much in charge of designing.
Right.
We were, at the time, our expertise, and still today, especially our electronics expertise and all of the things that went into the heat tech, we were partnering with other manufacturers who had some expertise in the technology, and we were dictating all the designs, right?
Yeah,
still doing the feedback with the pros. But it looked very different. The team that was in charge of, especially the actual jacket part of it, was the same team that was working on drills and vacuums and everything else at the time at Milwaukee that was maybe a little bit less specialized. So that has been the biggest thing over the years. We've invested in the technology, pushed the boundaries on all of that over the years. And then the last really 5-6 years in the market, you started to see the clothing itself become a lot more quality, intentional, all of those aspects. And that's where we've invested and hired the people from the industry that have the experience in how to make clothes and how to do it right. And so we've taught them the Milwaukee way, and they've taught us so much about how to make a good piece of clothing.
Right.
Yeah, because it changed things for you. Now your products are developed and fully in-house now. So it's different from where you started. You guys had to grow into where you saw this kind of business segment going, right?
Yeah.
And you brought up at the very beginning, you not only deal with the heated clothing, but you deal with all the new development, really, because it's been new for you for not so long.
Mm-hmm.
It's pants, shirts, sweatshirts, things that don't have batteries in them. How is that segment, what does that look like for Milwaukee in the future? What do you, how many SKUs do you have now? Where is this going to go?
Yeah, SKU-wise, we have, at this point, a little over 1,000 SKUs, which is crazy to think about. I mean, when you think about it in actual product form, it's a lot less, right? You take all the sizes and colors and all those things out of it. You funnel it into the core things. For us, it really has been like any other category. It's like, hey, we learned in heated gear, this is something that people care about in the trades, whether you're a plumber, you're a remodeler, you're HVAC, you name it, right? You guys are passionate about your clothes and what you wear. And a lot of guys view it as just as much of a tool as it is for them as their hand tools or their power tools, and sometimes even more independently and personally passionate about what they're wearing. So for us, that was the biggest learning. And then we're like, we have to do this right. So we don't jump into any category. You've seen how we've gotten into pack out and expanded in storage. You see how outdoor power equipment, we've taken it slow. We learn, we invest, we do it right. It's in the same thing in this space. And for us, it was something that to get it right, we had to bring the right people in, take it slow. So in 2020, we introduced the first couple of products, right? We had a pocket tee, we had a hoodie, a couple other shirts, and we missed the mark on some of those things. And we knew that. But in true fashion, we iterated, we went back to the well, we got more feedback in the field, and we listened to figure out what it is that was actually going to be worn on a day-to-day basis, and cut past the mirage of a power tool company making a piece of clothing, and knowing that we have to earn the credibility in that space because it's not given. When it's a Milwaukee logo on a t-shirt, everyone's first assumption is, oh, that's just, who's making it? Some random person, they're just throwing their brand on it. So for us, that's been a very intentional part of that journey is to build it out and grow it. And, you've seen the collections, everything into the market the last couple of years. That's really the path that we're on, is making products that are benefit driven. We want to make things that actually have intentionality and bring some innovation where we can in that space.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of the things that I think a lot of our audience looks at in terms of clothing, right? It's like you said, oh, we made a pocket tee. Okay, whatever, it's a pocket tee. You look back at like some of that early heated gear stuff. Some of it's still around out there. I've got a gridiron vest that's probably one of my most favorite, like mid-season workwear. I rarely have the battery in it, but it works. It's functional. Looking at what you guys have got on the floor today, what are some of the problems that you guys have identified that the rest of the market hasn't?
That's a really good question. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because it's like you look at this. This is the product that's sitting out there is very well refined. I haven't seen it before.
Thank you.
It's cool.
Thank you. I think in heated gear, it comes down to the technology. Like that is first and foremost, and then we want to get the garment right as well. But the heat and all of that's the reason you're buying that type of a product. So that's the biggest thing. When you look at the mass part of clothing, right, it applies to heated gear, but especially in workwear, the everyday purchases, the more high volume, you're going to own 4, 5, 6 of a certain shirt or a certain pair of pants, or whatever. I don't think there's necessarily anything that nobody is aware of. It's I think for us, it's listening, spending the time to understand, okay, for example, we launched the tech pants, stretchy, they are lighter weight, they're flexible, they still have all the pockets. For years, there was this perception in the market that guys in the trades wouldn't wear something that was made of nylon or had spandex in it. It's gonna rip too fast, or it's not gonna deliver what they wanted. The reality is you can make things that are just as durable, if not a lot more durable in those materials. You just have to be able to prove it and bring it, and then have the things like the storage features and all of the aspects to understand what are they carrying on their person, where are they putting X tool, or where would they like to put X tool, what frustrates them about the things that they wear today. And then we're intentional about that. The flannel is a good example of that. We have a stacked pocket, so you actually have a doubled up pocket. Guys wanted to be able to put their phone in one part of it, and then they wanted to be able to put, nails, bits, screws, whatever else, a knife, blade replacement, whatever else that they might be carrying every day, and be able to do that at the same time. And a lot of times when you have double stack pockets, if you put something in the back, it bulges out and it completely blocks you from using that other part of it. So that was something that we put an intentional design around, to have an expandable pocket that would flatten. And it seems small, right? It's one example, but now maybe that's your flannel that you choose because it does all the other things really well that you wanted, but it has that one little thing that solves one little minor annoyance. And I think that's the cool thing about clothes is there's like this open ocean of preference and, personal situations and everything. So we just try to bring as much objectivity to the subjective space and try to put products out there that we're really confident are going to be utilized.
Where do you think that the designs and the material selections and just how things are constructed are coming from most? Is it like one specific industry? We see a shift in like footwear out in the marketplace by the major players putting together good boots for us. And you see a shift from like this traditional mock toe, wedge sole boot like I'm wearing right now to like a sportswear type of themed, fit and finish because for like comfort and performance and footwear. Are you guys looking at like sportswear for your guidance, or at least, using that as an example? Like this is clothing that's functional, but also comfortable. Are you looking at those kinds of designs to bring into like prove fabrics or methods of joining fabrics together and stuff as like when you're in the prototype, when you're in the design phase?
Yeah, honestly, I think we look at every part of clothing to figure out what can we learn from it and pull into this space. The great news, the great part about this industry is that uh, it's very like flexible, and everyone's open to sharing a lot of that information. So if you look at athleisure and that trend that happened, I don't know, right before COVID and then spiked with COVID, that wasn't at the time, 2020, 2021, that wasn't something that had come into the trades, right? The flexible pants, those things hadn't made it to this world yet. But that was where we were looking, okay, like, hey, this is something that people in day-to-day life love. Why not be able to bring something like that in the right way to this world, which is why you need pants like this, but they have to be durable. They have to be able to stand up to at least the day-to-day that you're going to go put it through. But yeah, we're looking at athletics, hiking, outdoors, looking at our own industry, right? There's a ton of good brands out there in the workwear space and that do a lot of good work. So we're taking inspiration, influence, what do we like, what do we not, seeding our own products, competitors' products. Hey, what do people like, not like about them? And trying to put all that together into a package that we think is going to be a good solution for the type of product that we wanted to bring out.
Andy, what do you think you're like most, you're looking at pants, like you're wearing the new Milwaukee, the tech pants. Thanks for you gave us samples. It was great. They're awesome. I've actually been wearing the other color for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months. They've become my favorite pants. I'm not just saying that because you're on the podcast here, but they really have. I wear them all the time. Andy, when you look at a pair of pants like this, we're similar in what we're looking for, what we like, and how we're wearing them, using them. But what are you looking at first? Is it like comfort, durability, flexible fabric, stuff like that?
Well, I think, go back to years ago, switching from, the classic cotton jeans, whatever they were, the duck pant, whatever it was, that you were wearing for workwear. The first time I put on something like this, I was like, wow, it's like I'm wearing sweatpants. This is really comfortable. And then, you always get, like you said, the question, are they going to hold up? Well, that first pair of pants, I think I got like 2 or 3 years out of them, wearing them weekly. So
Wow.
all of a sudden now the pants that I was destroying on a 6-month interval, they're gone, right? They're out of the closet. I don't need any more of those. So now I got a closet full of them. And I put these on for the first time this morning and was like, this is kind of interesting. And what I've noticed from them today.
Why? Because they like massage your butt or something like that?
No, I was a little nervous. So I'm, Montanan, we're dry. Right, it's not horribly humid here today. Right, it's pretty darn nice. It's warm, but it's pretty dry. I was a little nervous this morning if it was going to be 80 or 90% humidity and hot, that I'm going to be sweating. I can tell you that after walking around in here today, other than going out and playing in the sawdust chips with the snowblower, I felt like I was wearing shorts.
Nice.
So they're cool to wear. They're breathable, and I've been today just kind of like playing around with them. And I'm going, well.
It's nice
new.
because the pockets are in different spots than you're used to and things like that.
I got my cell phone in my side pocket here, and it's like I have a big cell phone. It's an iPhone 14 Pro Max. It slips right in there and in a case, and hasn't felt like it's going to come out.
Yeah,
So that you talked about like pockets and those design things, and I guess those are things that I pick up on. I guess I don't want to say right away, but that I appreciate more.
Sure.
That you see those things where, somebody spent time to figure that out. And, like we'd talked, you had, where do we get this? Where does these information come from? We heard it in the Q&A session, where do these ideas come from? And it just kind of is always, I don't know, coming to the pipeline has been cool. We're seeing lots of cool stuff. And the whole clothing line is something that I guess I'm a little out of touch on. right? I haven't really been in the Milwaukee Pipeline or of the clothing aspect of it as much as the tool side. And so when I see all what you guys have got out there, I'm like, holy cow, there's a lot of really cool new stuff. I mean, we were talking about the gloves earlier today.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us a little bit about that heated glove or the heated.
I want to, yeah.
Okay.
You guys, check this out. So we walk up to the here at Pipeline, we walk up to the booth where they're doing the heated gear. And I'm familiar with heated gear because I've been to a few pipelines. I'm very thankful for learning about this year after year and seeing the progression of it and stuff. Right. These gloves are next level. You guys had a heated glove. You had a heated glove. Let's leave it at that.
That was a nice way to say it.
It was just a glove and it had heat, and it was years ago. We forgot about it. Good thing, because the new ones you have, we walk up to it, and you're and I were both like, "What in the world are these?" We both put them on. We both turned them on, and the first words out of our mouth was like, "Holy crap, this thing's hot!" So, yeah, tell us more. How did you get to that spot, and how did you manage to take this heated gear concept and put it into something that's going to allow us to work? Because I didn't feel any kind of heating system in that glove other than it was warm.
Yeah, honestly, the Hexon technology that we introduced last year at Pipeline, which is now our whole line, right? We added the hoodies this year, so now everything's completely on the Hexon technology. Today it's a carbon nanotube based technology. It's very flat, flexible, thin, really durable still, right? So you can still wash it many, many times more than anybody would actually sanely wash their jackets or a pair of gloves, obviously. Yeah. But that's the catalyst to the base technology that allows it to heat up faster. The coverage and the contact is so much better, so the perception is so much better. And then the biggest thing is the battery. So the previous gen heated gloves, they ran off the red lithium USB battery, which is the same one that you have in the headlamps and some of our other smaller products. Ultimately, it just didn't have the capacity to deliver the amount of runtime and definitely not the heat that you needed to be able to pull from it. And then the carbon fiber was just so thin. So just all around, it wasn't a great experience. The glove itself was like fine. Like the glove was okay. But we've made, with the investments in the apparel side and all the experts, like we've made leaps and bounds improvement on the fit and the glove and everything, right? So that gives you the total package that Hexon really allows you to put into the heated gloves to where you can't even feel it. You don't notice that anything else is in there. And we have those two unique solutions, and that really came from the job site, right? So for those of you that don't know, we have the heated winter glove, which is all out durability, all out insulation and warmth. It's basically our previous gen,
Yeah, it's improved. The full, you look at it, you're holding a glove. And what's important to make point on this is that you have another product that isn't, it's like the inside of that glove, right?
Yes, yeah. So that's the heated work glove liner, and it's really thin and it's really focused on dexterity and layering. So you can put any other glove over it. We have all of our Milwaukee gloves out there, whether it's cut level or leather or demo, whatever it is, you can layer that over top, and you can actually do things where you need your fingers, you need fine focus and application. And that came 100% from working on sites and understanding, before we even started making the gloves themselves, what are people doing in the winter to keep their hands warm? And the reality is nothing works today, right? Either layering 2 or 3 over to just get longer period of less cold. You're still cold. By the end of the day, your fingers are just like numb. Or there are heated gloves in the market. A few people are using them here and there, but they're not durable. They're not made for the job site. And the heat is nowhere near what we're putting out with Hexon.
Well, we've seen it over the years. How many times have you met somebody that's using those hand warmer packets? Like those can cause chemical burns on your skins for prolonged, experience or exposure, or if they break open, things like that. I mean, is it likely to happen? Maybe not, but they're not super effective.
They just don't last.
Yeah, they just don't last very long. It's really hard to work with like high dexterity gloves in the wintertime and have any amount of like you just end up short bursts of time if you don't have some kind of temporary heat to warm you up while you're doing it. Otherwise, those gloves, I mean, we use them for protection, but they don't really offer any warmth at all.
Yeah.
So you can do that type of glove with the liner underneath it. It was wild how hot it got. Like, not like it wasn't burning my hand, but like just
inside it's hot.
Immediately warm.
When you're on high inside, it's like you got to turn it down or take it off.
Yeah.
I've got, I don't know, I've probably had a half a dozen of them in my lifetime of like nice gloves that are heated, for snowmobiling or winter sports or whatever. And the thing I noticed today, sticking my hand in the liner, was that it's not just like the palm of your hand that's heated. It's down the back of each finger.
Mm-hmm.
It's not down where your work surface is at.
Mm-hmm.
It's, so you'd like you mentioned, you don't feel it. You're wearing a glove. There's heat on the back. I was very impressed.
Good.
So that's
it's the Hexon technology that gives you that. So describe to us, just, I know you already did a little bit, but just in a nutshell, what is Hexon other than a marketing name?
Yeah. So it's really all about delivering the most warmth for as long as possible, heating up as fast as possible, and having the most contact. Like at the end of the day, it's heat perception, and that's it dictated by all those things: contact, speed, and then how long can you hold the heat. The biggest problem that heated gear has had for years, even our previous generations, was over the discharge of the battery, that heat dissipates quite a bit to be able to hold the runtime. The Hexon with the nanotubes and everything, you're able to hit and hold that temperature. So if you're in really, really cold, it's going to hold it. If you come in, 40, 50 degrees, wherever you're at, or you're going in between something that's semi-finished and back outside, it adapts to where you're at, and so it knows how hard it has to work. So you'll get better runtime, but it'll still be able to hold your temperature if you're in a less or more moderate condition.
Yeah. So we've talked about heated gear, right? I mean, that was one big part of what we wanted to chat about. What's a couple other new releases for Pipeline this year
for workwear?
In the workwear.
Yeah. So we just launched our FreeFlex lightweight insulated vests, both men's and women's. So we have the gridiron vest today, right? Like it's very Sherpa lined canvas, durable outer layer. This one is thinner, very, very thin mental layer, and then it's got stretch panels on the sides and on the shoulders. So the biggest thing we were seeing is whether you have a tool belt over it or you're layered under a more durable outer layer, trying to move and reach, you get locked up with that vest inside. So it's really allows you to layer comfortably, lightweight, but be able to move up and down and reach around. So that's a big one. And then coming in January for spring and summer of 2026, we have our Workskin Sunshade Hat. So it's a bucket hat design, bucket hat style. It's really a sun hat focused on, really, really laser focused on developed with landscapers, roofers, all the outdoor trades that are sitting there getting beat down by the sun all day. It's very, very quick to dry, very high quality. It's not going to fall apart. And it's got a detachable cape that you can actually attach, protect your neck. You can roll it up, or you can take that cape and put it on any ball cap if you just want to take that cape and protect your neck for extended period of time. So we're really excited about that one as well, as we get to be able to venture out into a little bit more of the outdoor world.
Yep. So the industry is largely developed, right? You guys have lots of competition out there. One of the things that I'm seeing more trending here lately is a women's line. What do you got going there?
Yeah, great question. So we just introduced that in January.
Okay.
Very first time for us. We started with 5 core products. We have our pocket tees, which is gridiron pocket tees, FreeFlex hybrid tees, and pullover hoodies, FreeFlex pullover hoodies, and then the 2 pairs of pants. So the hoodies and tees are iterations of our men's, and that's a space where in women's workwear today, it's either, fashion type fabrics or cuts, or maybe it's durable enough, but they don't have the right storage, right? Their pockets are too small, or they don't actually have the pockets that they need to work. Most commonly what we were hearing was they want to be able to have something that they can just blend in with and get the job done and not have to wear a men's cut of a product. So the tees, the hoodies, through that research, it was like, hey, this is the right fabric. Just make it in my cut, make it in how I want it to fit, and you're good. Right. In the pants, very different story. So those are 2. We have the core pant, everyday pant. Those are a lot stretchier than the men's, high waist design, so high rise. Then we have the gridiron jogger. So super durable, jogger style pant, tons of storage, ultra durability. Like that was the biggest thing we heard, is like, we just don't have a pant that is durable that we can rely on day in and day out. So those 5 launched in January, and then we continue to add here with the FreeFlex vest in the fall. And then we have a couple products coming next spring for our season. We've got the women's sun shirts. We just added our long sleeve tees as well this fall. So we're really jacked about that. That's a growing space in the trades, women entering the trades. It's been an awesome trend to see. And it's just something that resonated really strongly with a lot of our team internally, but a lot of also the team doing the research and recognizing the need for something that was a little bit more specialized and dedicated.
Wes, I got a question for you. So I live in like a, I'm just north of Minneapolis, kind of out on the edge of the country, smaller town, 30,000 people. I got one of those little dinky Home Depots, doesn't have a big selection. I go online, I can buy anything I want anywhere. I will tell you this, when it comes to like workwear, a lot of people in the trades are still like older in age. I'm not picking on anybody, but like the demographic is very accepting of, I want to go try on the stuff. I want to experience it before I spend the money on it. Let's face it. The tech pants, it's like might be one of the more expensive pairs of pants like some of the people I see on the job site daily would consider buying, right? The cotton Wranglers from Target that like some my buddies used to wearing all the time, he spends $30 on.
Yep.
You look at tech pants, tech fabrics, high performance, these are edging $100, right? So like, I don't know the exact price. That's not the point. My point is this, like, for people that want to try stuff on, or just you're nervous, you don't know what this new workwear has to offer you because you haven't experienced it yet. Where do we go and find this stuff? Because for me and my community, small kind of outlets, it doesn't seem like they have anything on the hook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a huge part of, as we grow in the space and in the market, we know we got to get in front of people. And our distribution partners are, some of them in the retail segment, you've got the Fleet Farms, the Rural Kings, the Ace, the Do It Best, right? All of the different hardware and farm stores. A lot of them do close really well. And so that's who we're starting to partner with pretty heavily. Obviously, Home Depot is a huge partner of ours and everything. They've been a huge partner in this
Not
category.
a clothing store, though, right?
Yeah,
admittedly, right?
Yeah, for sure. And intentionally, right? And not traditionally a clothing store. We have at the same time, we've figured out ways that we can get clothes into those stores, right? Quarterly. Some of them have permanent sets inside of their stores. HomeDepot.com obviously has everything under the sun, but you can always go to our website, click on where to buy, learn more. It'll direct you, hey, what store in your area carries this product? And without fail, we have a good handful of distributors who, obviously online is not the ideal, but at least it allows you to get started with it and go back and forth. But 100%, you're right, Eric. Like, this is a journey for us. We are laser focused on getting more physical placement out there, because that's the name of the game, to be able to get in front of and try it and test it out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously we don't sell direct. I think that's a key difference between Milwaukee and every competitor that we have in this space. The reality is, every other brand that you can think of, they sell direct, and some of them have their own stores and some of them sell online. Milwaukee doesn't. That's just not in our core strategy and principle. And so in this category right now, that's the strategy that we take, and we're committed to partner with our distributors.
Yeah. I'd like to see a direct model as a consumer, but I get it. Like, you have partners out in the industry, your retail partners and distributors, things like that. Like, you got to work with them. You don't want to take a whole product segment away from their sales, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, Wes, I want to thank you for joining us today. If there's one thing that you could leave for our listeners to be watching for in the workwear segment, what should they be on the lookout for?
Oh man, that's a good question. Very open-ended. I honestly think it's just the continued progression and the commitment to the space. We are committed to bringing products to the market every single season, fall and spring, new products each year. And we're committed to getting laser focused even further on the trades. All the workwear, heated gear, everything up to this point has been about building our foundation, earning credibility with products that our day-to-day wears. But as we continue to grow this, we want to continue to be, like we have in every other category, starting to understand and learn more about each trade individually and what can we do to bring more targeted solutions in those worlds.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fun.
All right, guys, if you haven't already, check out all the coverage coming from Pipeline. Search the Milwaukee Pipeline hashtag. You'll be seeing this just a few days after the event has started or had happened. But of course, you're going to see tons of coverage on our socials, on our YouTube channel, you name it. Andy, another great episode. Cool stuff coming.
Yep.
I'm jealous that you wore those pants all day long. They look way more comfortable than I ended up being in my denim jeans.
Just wear them tonight.
Cotton schlub.
I'm going to wear mine to the... Yours are all dirty now from cutting wood and everything. I'm going to wear mine to the dance, and everybody's going to be super jealous of me. Guys, as always, thanks for following along. And if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast here on YouTube, I super wish that you would. And follow us on all of your podcast apps by hitting like, subscribe, share it with your friends. We're out.
Thanks.